Good afternoon, Prof. Hi, my name is Lee and we are Team 7, and together with me are my group mates Daniel, Eileen and Shunle, and we will be presenting our project Be Better. So for our problem statement, mental health is a growing concern in Singapore, especially within teenagers, but because of the lack of knowledge or the fear of judgment, they are not seeking relevant help. And so for our target audience, they are generally teenagers below the age of 20. So here are some statistics that we can use to show that mental health is indeed becoming quite the serious issue, where about 33% of teenagers have experienced some form of mental illness, whether it's major or minor. So for our solution, some of the key features that we intend to use are educational resources, daily journaling, random fun facts, the counseling chatbot, but most importantly, our interactive virtual pet. For educational resources, issues related to mental health can be very overwhelming for youth because they are unsure about what they're facing, and what we don't know, we fear. So, targeted at giving youth the relevant resources to what they're experiencing, it is a simple yet impactful solution in helping the youth navigate through it. As you can see here, if let's say we are feeling anxious for the day, then the resources would change and show some resources that are suited to help us with our anxiety. Some methods used here are Axios, where we retrieve data from the database, such as mood, the username, etc., and view, which is to make the page reactive based on the data inputted.
Thank you, Tze. I'll now be moving on to our next feature, journaling. Research has found that journaling is able to greatly decrease the chances of youth falling for depression or other mental health issues. This is because journaling can be as effective as cognitive behavioral therapy, which has been proven to significantly decrease the chance of youth falling for mental health issues. Furthermore, we've also found out that Thanksgiving is also able to decrease the chances of youth having mental health issues. This is because Thanksgiving is related to gratitude. And gratitude increases optimism, which is indirectly benefiting our happiness and mental health, which is why we hope to tap on these two components and incorporate them into our journaling. So, when users press into our journaling feature, you'll be greeted with two mandatory questions, namely, a how was your day question, and a something that you are grateful for question. Both of these questions aims to promote users to reflect upon their days and realize that there is more to things in life than the bad things that they are experiencing right now. This allows them to internalize their emotions and better control them. Our journaling feature also hopes to promote a healthy habit of journaling and Thanksgiving amongst our users, which decreases their risk of falling prey to mental health issues too.
We made use of JavaScript to collect and present user inputs, and Bootstrap and CSS to style the journal.
I'll be moving on to our next feature, chatbot. Studies have shown that there is still a stigma against mental health issues, especially in Singapore amongst youth. Singapore Mental Health Report has shown that 70% of Singaporeans are still concerned about the stigma against mental health issues. This means that youth would not be comfortable in openly sharing their mental health problems, as they are afraid for the fear of judgment from those around them. Hence, our chatbot feature aims to mitigate this, as we provide our users with full anonymity so that they can openly and freely share their thoughts without feeling like they would be judged. Furthermore, our chatbot is also able to provide customized with feedback based on what our users are inputting. In the case that our chatbot flags out any concerning actions or behaviors from users, we will automatically connect them with real-life professional counselors so that we can provide our users with the help they need.
Our chatbot makes use of JavaScript for our chat responses, Axios for retrieval of images, and Bootstrap for our styling.
Next, for the random cat facts. Built with the idea of a light-hearted distraction in mind, it is intended to lift the spirits of the users and to take their minds off their worries. As you can see here, by clicking on the red button, we would retrieve the random facts from the website before formatting it and displaying it in the grey box above. The methods used to do this are View and Axios to retrieve from the API.
Next, we'll talk about the virtual pet, which is meant to be the main selling point of our applications. When doing research about mental health, we found out studies that show that mixed reality virtual pets can significantly reduce mental stress and induce positive emotions. For those of you who don't know what mixed reality is basically when you have on your phone, you can point it to a surface and it'll have a picture displayed on the phone. In this case, it was a pet. And with the pet, you could play with it, you could feed it. So we wanted to adopt a similar approach for our virtual pet for our application because we believe that it's possible to replace human to animal interactions to induce positive emotions. Additionally, we want the user to believe that the pet is theirs. Therefore, we want it to be customizable so it can be unique to each and every user. Additionally, we want the pet to be interactive so that the user can hear from its pet, can feed the pet, and can play with it. So this is how our user interface looks like for the pet, which we'll go over the demo. How we were able to do it, we're able to create a text box that displays the pet message variable, and this text box is modified by actions with your pet, such as feeding it or retrieving codes from an API to ensure that your pet is communicating it with you. For the hunger bar, we use vbind to a variable, and we're able to modify this variable over time and upon feeding it. Additionally, we're using vif to change the color when the hunger bar decreases. Next, we were able to use pet images and wardrobe stored and retrieved in the database using the Axios. Additionally, we integrated pet games from open source GitHub repositories so that you can interact with your pet.
Lastly, for the database, we chose to use MySQL here to store several crucial data like the user details, their daily emotions, as well as the links to our virtual pet. To use this data, we use PHP to retrieve and manipulate the data, then Vue to reflect it on our site. Bootstrap was used to design our website, and to obtain our gamified and pixelated look, we used the nes.csf framework. We believed that by making it look like a game, it could prove to incentivize our target audience, which are teenagers, to return more consistently.
Now, let's demo how we use our application. When you open the application, you're greeted with a login screen. Since I don't have an account yet, let's make one. Now that I've made an account, I'm able to log into it. When I log into my account, since this is my first login of the day, I'm greeted with emotion selection for the day. Let's say today I'm feeling anxious since I'm doing my presentation. After I submit my daily emotion, I'm greeted with a nice meadow with my pet. Now, let's go over each feature one by one. Since I've selected that I'm feeling anxious today, the education resources page that we have will curate resource based on my emotion, which is anxiety. So, here are some resources that are used to help with anxiety. Let's go back. For our mood calendar, we're able to log the day, our emotions for the day. Since today is night, let's click on it. So I mentioned I'm feeling a bit anxious about the presentation, and let's say my day was a 3. My day was good, and I'm grateful for WED2. Let's add this to our journal. Now that we've added this to our journal, it's actually stored in the database. So if I click on it, I'm able to see how my day was on that day. This is important as we believe part of mental health is being able to track how you felt in the past and going back to it. Let's go back to the main page. On the main page, there's also a few random fun little facts about cats. So this is using the API about fun facts about cats. So let's find out a few fun facts. Okay, let's go back to the main page. On the main page, we're also able to chat with the pet. So let's talk to it for a bit. So I can tell it hi and it's going to respond to me. And after it asks me how I'm doing, I can say that I'm not doing too well. When it senses that I'm not doing too well, it asks me how am I feeling now. I'm able to say I'm feeling anxious. When I mention how I'm feeling, the pet will also prompt me why am I feeling this way. So I can say I have so much work to do. So when I mention why I'm feeling anxious, the pet will encourage me. Let's say thanks to it. After we say thanks, it's telling us that it'll always be here for us. Let's go back to the main page again. Now we can actually interact with the pet. So let's click on the pet to go into the interaction menu. As we interact with the pet, you may notice two things. There is a text box of the pet talking to us, telling us how is your day, and there is a hunger bar that is depleting. So the text box is using an API to retrieve codes so that the pet is actually able to communicate with us. Additionally, as the hunger goes down, the color of the hunger bar also changes. So while my pet is getting hungry, let's see other features. Let's talk about the wardrobe. As we open the wardrobe, we're able to select a skin for the pet. This is done to make the pet customizable to each user. Now that my pet is getting really hungry, let's wait for it to go hungry all the way. So now that my pet is really hungry, it's actually asking me to feed it. So let's feed the pet. And now that I'm done feeding the pet, it says it's not hungry, so I can't feed it more. Additionally, when you feed the pet, it will also thank you for feeding it. Now, let's click on the pet to pet it. So it'll thank us for petting it. Okay, let's play a few games with the pet. We can play tic-tac-toe. Oh, and the pet actually won me. Well, let's try another game then. Let's try Connect 4. So we're able to play Connect 4 with the pet. These games are integrated from open source GitHub repositories and is credited in our slides. So let's play a quick game with it. It actually won me again. Let's go back. So now that we selected a different skin for the pet, as you can see is now blue, let's go back to the main page. And this will actually be reflected for the user as the pet on the main page is the same color and it is the same in the chat box. So now that I'm done with my mental health for the day, let's sign out.
That will be all for our application. Be better. Thank you for listening.